Hello, welcome back. So today we're going to talk about chapter 1 from Compassion and Conviction. But before we get started on that, I watched back the last video and realized you couldn't really read my whole shirt, and I wanted to make sure that you could see it all. This is from Mess in a Bottle. I'll have them linked in the caption. So it says, "There are those who will change history and those who will be sad they didn't try." So just so you know, that's what it says. It doesn't just say there are those who will change. So, all right, so let's talk about chapter 1. So the very first chapter is called Christians and Politics. So the main idea is that politics is a resource for Christians. So as believers, we are to use politics as a resource to advance the gospel, which is our ultimate calling, but it's also an arena for us to put that faith into action. It's a broad stage. It's a hill for us to be on and to let our light shine from that hill. And we have to remember, when we're talking about politics, when we're digging into these issues, when we're engaging in debates, politics is ultimately about people. When we think politics, when I think politics at least, I think corruption. I think power. I think games. I don't think anything really good. And so reading through this book really helped me to sort of reframe my mindset. Okay, politics is supposed to be about people. Politics is supposed to be about making sure that the government does what it's supposed to do. Chapter 2, I believe, is when we'll get to talk a little bit more about what is government, what was God's purpose for government, and all that. But this is chapter 1 is just sort of a broad overview of Christians and politics and our kind of role in the political arena. So a couple of takeaways that I found as I was reading through this chapter. The one that struck me the most is that, and this may be obvious to other people, and it probably should have been to me, but witness is greater than winning. So I'm going to just quote from the book directly. This is on page 17. It says, "When in conflict, we should demonstrate that our public witness is more important than winning a political battle. This means that if our side has to do something unloving or corrupt to win, then it's better for us to lose in that situation." And as a believer, it seems like, yeah, duh, that's obvious. But I think I'll keep just speaking for myself, when I get caught up in a political debate or I'm trying to understand a political issue or a new bill that's being proposed or a candidate that's running for an office, I tend to just think about the win, the victory. Like, what is the thing that I should vote on, or what is the thing I should think about in order to win this issue or to win this prize? And ultimately, I mean, it's an eternal mindset that we have to have. It's an eternal mindset that I have to have. It's a temporal responsibility. You know, it's finite, this responsibility that I have as an American citizen to vote and to be informed and to participate well in civics. But I get lost sometimes in the struggle to win, and not even win the political battle, but win my own political battle of sounding smart and sounding like I know what I'm talking about and winning the argument. But the book takes us back to Matthew chapter 5, 13 through 16, which is the story of, or Jesus' call to us to be salt and light. We're called to be the salt and the light of the earth. So salt is a preservative. Salt, we're supposed to preserve humanity. We're supposed to go out there and preach the gospel, and we're trying to preserve the human race. We're trying to save one another. We're trying to preach that God is the one, Jesus is the one who saves. And then our light, we are light to reveal that hope, to reveal Jesus. So when we compromise this, when we compromise the witness for the win, we render our salt useless. As Jesus said, it's only fit to be trampled upon at that point. It doesn't do anything. And we shove our light under a basket. So even though we've been placed on this hill of politics, of political and civic engagement, we can so easily become, nasty, seasonless, useless salt, or a light hidden under a basket. And this requires so much trust, because I know there are times for people who are engaged in politics, who are like candidates, or they're working in the political arena, and they're fighting for something, they're fighting for an issue. But if they take this one strategy, they would have to compromise their values. They would have to compromise what they believe. And to say no to that compromise requires so much trust. And this actually reminded me of, I read The Hiding Place this year by Corrie ten Boom. And there's this part that she talks about her sister. And I'm probably going to mess this up, but her sister basically refuses to lie, even though if she lied, it would have, ostensibly, it would have saved somebody. It would save someone's life. But she refused to lie because her value was honesty. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to do that because that would be disrespectful to my Jesus. So she refused to lie, even though it was a life or death situation. And you're reading this going, what are you doing? Of course you lie to save someone's life. But she trusted God above all else. And spoiler alert, God worked that situation out. That person lived. But just that reminded me, this chapter reminded me of that. So it's this temporal responsibility within an eternity mindset. We have a responsibility to be well-informed citizens, to vote well, to be engaged in the political arena. But our ultimate call is to preach and teach the gospel of Jesus and to live the gospel of Jesus within this world. So for prayer, I would say let's ask God to reveal, like, what is that role? What's your role in politics? What does your role look like in the political arena? And let's ask him to give us wisdom and knowledge in this arena, because it's a very big and weird arena. It's very corrupt in so many ways. It's very scary. And that can be overwhelming, even just thinking about politics. But when your informational ballot booklet comes in, ask him to be there with you as you're reading through it. Ask for friends to help you out. Ask God to show you who are some people that I can talk to about this and I can talk through things. You don't have to run for office. You don't have to become an expert in politics. But you can ask Jesus to help you just to do what you are called to do in this arena. All right, that's my time. So I'll see you next time with chapter 2. Love you and be blessed.